Hello everyone. Today we will start a new series for the subject of geography, which is an important subject for UPSC Civil Services exam. We will start with class 6, the earth, our habitat. Okay, the contents are first in first chapter, the earth in the solar system. Second, globe, latitudes and longitudes. Third, motions of the earth. Fourth, maps. Fifth, major domains of the earth. Sixth, our country, India. The earth in the solar system. First chapter, the earth in the solar system. How wonderful it is to watch the sky after sunset. One would first notice one or two bright dots shining in the sky. Soon you would see the number increasing. You cannot count them anymore. The whole sky is filled with tiny shining objects. Some are bright, others dim. It seems as if the sky is studded with diamonds. They all appear to be twinkling. But if you look at them carefully, you will notice that some of them do not tingle as others do. They simply glow without any flicker, just as the moon shines. Along with these bright objects, you may also see the moon on most of the days. It may, however, appear at different times, in different shapes, and at different positions. You can see the full moon only once in about a month's time. It is full moon night or Purnima. A fortnight later, you cannot see it at all. It is a new moon night or Amavasya. On this day, you can watch the night sky best, provided it is a clear night. Do you wonder why can't we see the moon and all those bright tiny objects during daytime? It is because the very bright light of the sun does not allow us to see all the bright objects of the night sky. The sun, the moon, and those all those objects shining in the night sky are called celestial bodies. Some celestial bodies are very big and hot. They are made up of gases. They have their own heat and light, which they emit in the large amounts. These celestial bodies are called stars. The sun is a star. Countless twinkling stars in the night sky are similar to the sun, but we do not feel their heat or light, and they look so tiny because they are very, very far from us. Okay. Figure 1.1 shows Saptarishi and the North Star. This is the Saptarishi, 6 star plus 1. Okay. Saptarishi, okay, here the west, east facing north, the pointer stars, the North Star. You must have noticed that all objects look smaller when seen from a distance. How small an aeroplane looks when it is flying at a great height. While watching the night sky, you may notice various patterns formed by different groups of stars. These are called constellations. Ursa Major or Big Bear is one of such constellation. One of the most easily recognizable constellation is the Saptarishi, Sapta 7, Rishi sages. It is a group of 7 stars that forms a part of Ursa Major constellation. Ask someone elder in your family or neighborhood to show you more stars, planets, and constellations in the sky. In ancient times, people used to determine directions during the night with the help of stars. The North Star indicates the north direction. It is also called the pole star. It always remains in the same position in the sky. We can locate this position of the pole star with the help of Saptarishi. Look at the figure 1.1. You will notice that if an imaginary line is drawn joining the pointer stars and extended further, it will point to the pole star. Some celestial bodies do not have their own heat and light. They are lit by the light of the stars. Such bodies are called planets. The word planet comes from Greek word planetai, which means wanderers. The earth on which we live is a planet. It gets all its heat and light from the sun, which is our nearest star. If we look at the earth from a great distance, say the moon, it will appear to be shining just as the moon. The moon that we see in the sky is a satellite. It is a companion of our earth and moves around it. Like our earth, there are 7 other planets that get heat and light from the sun. Some of them have their moons too. Interesting fact: Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus (JSU), Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus have rings around them. These are belts of small debris. These rings may be seen from the Earth with the help of powerful telescopes. The solar system: the Sun, 8 planets, satellites, and some other celestial bodies known as asteroids and meteoroids form the solar system. We often call it a solar family with the Sun as its head. Okay. Here you can see the figure of a solar system. Okay. There are inner planets and outer planets. Inner planets are very close to the sun. They are made up of rocks. Outer planets are very, very far from the sun and are huge planets made up of gases and liquids. So inner planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Mercury, one orbit around sun, 88 days, one spin on axis, 59 days. Venus, one orbit around sun, 255 days, one spin on axis, 243 days. Earth, one orbit around sun, 365 days, one spin on axis, 1 day. Number of the moons, 1. Mars, the one orbit around sun, 687 days, one spin on axis, 1 day. Number of moons, 2. Outer planets very, very far from the sun and are huge planets made up of gases and liquids. They are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Jupiter, one orbit around the sun, 11 years, 11 months, and about 12 years. One spin on axis, 9 hours, 56 minutes. Number of moons, about 53. Saturn, one orbit around sun, 29 years, 5 months. One spin on axis, 10 hours, 40 minutes. Number of moons, about 53. Uranus, one orbit around the sun, 84 years. One spin around axis, 17 hours, 14 minutes. Number of moons, about 27. Neptune, one orbit around sun, 164 years. One spin on axis, 16 hours, 7 minutes. Number of moons, 13. Okay. The sun is in the center of the solar system. The sun is in the center of the solar system. It is huge and made up of extremely hot gases. It provides the pulling force that binds the solar system. The sun is the ultimate source of heat and light for the solar system, but that tremendous heat is not felt so much by us because despite being our nearest star, it is far away from us. The sun is about 150 million kilometer away from the earth. The sun is about 150 million kilometers away from the earth. Do you know Sol in Roman mythology is the sun god? Solar means related to the sun. The family of the sun is therefore called the solar system. Okay, word origin. Many words used in the language may have been taken from some other language. Geography, for example, is an English word. It has its origin in Greek, which relates to the description of the earth. It is made of two Greek words, ge, meaning earth, and graphia, meaning writing. Okay, ge, logi, geology, study of the earth. Geometry, measurement of the earth. Geoid, resembling the shape or form of the earth. Okay, do you know humans have always been fascinated gazing at the night sky? Those who study the celestial bodies and their movements are called astronomers. Aryabhatta was a famous astronomer of ancient India. He said that the moon and planets shine due to reflected sunlight. Today, astronomers all over the world are busy exploring the universe. Planets. There are 8 planets in our solar system. In order of their distance from the sun, they are Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. An easy way to memorize the name of the planets in order of their distance from the sun is my very efficient mother just served us nuts. My very efficient mother just served us nuts. My M means Mercury, Venus, efficient Earth, Mother Mars, just Jupiter, served Saturn, us Uranus, Nets Neptune. All the 8 planets of the solar system move around the sun in fixed paths. These paths are elongated. They are called orbits. Mercury is nearest to the sun. Mercury is nearest to the sun. It takes only about 88 days to complete one round along its orbit. Venus is considered as Earth's twin because its size and shape are very much similar to that of the Earth. Till recently, August 2006, Pluto was also considered a planet. However, in a meeting of the International Astronomical Union, a decision was taken that Pluto, like other celestial objects, Ceres 2003 UB 313, discovered in recent past, may be called a dwarf planet. Okay, so Pluto is a dwarf planet. Okay, the earth is the nearest planet to the sun. The earth is the third nearest planet to the sun. In size, it is the fifth largest planet. It is slightly flattened at the poles. That is why its shape is described as geoid. Geoid means an earth-like shape. Conditions favorable to support life are probably found only on the earth. The earth is neither too hot nor too cold. It has water and air, which are very essential for our survival. The air has life supporting gases like oxygen. Because of these reasons, the Earth is a unique planet in the solar system. From the outer space, the Earth appears blue because its two-thirds surface is covered by water. It is therefore called a blue planet. Do you know light travels at the speed of about 3 lakh kilometer per second? Yet even with this speed, the light of the sun takes about 8 minutes to reach the earth. Okay. The moon. Our earth has only one satellite, that is the moon. Its diameter is only one quarter of that of the earth. Its diameter is only one quarter that of the earth. It appears so big because it is nearer to our planet than other celestial bodies. It is about 3,84,400 kilometers away from us. Now you can compare the distance of the Earth from the Sun and that from the Moon. Okay, the Moon, as seen from the space, is shown in Figure 1.3. The Moon moves around the orbit in about 27 days. It takes exactly the same time to complete one spin. As a result, only one side of the Moon is visible to us on the Earth. The Moon does not have conditions favorable for life. It has mountains, plains, and depressions on its surface. These cast shadows on this moon's surface. Look at the full moon and observe these shadows. Okay. Neil Armstrong was the first man to step on the moon's surface of the moon on July 20, 1969. Okay. A satellite is a celestial body that moves around the planets in the same way as the planets move around the sun. A human made satellite is an artificial body. It is designed by scientists to gather information about the universe or for communication. It is carried by a rocket and placed in the orbit around the Earth. Some of the Indian satellites in space are INSAT, IRS, EduSat, etc. Okay. Figure 1.4 shows human made satellite. It is a rocket launch. Rocket falls back to the Earth. Satellite enters orbit. Okay. Asteroids. Figure 1.5 shows asteroid. Asteroid, apart from the stars, planets, and satellites, there are numerous tiny bodies which also move around the sun. These bodies are called asteroids. They are found between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Michael Jackson, MJ, Mars and Jupiter. Scientists are of the view that asteroids are the part of planet which explored many years back. Meteoroids, the small pieces of rock which move around the sun, are called meteoroids. Sometimes these meteoroids come near the earth and tend to drop upon it. During this process, due to friction with the air, they get heated up and burn. It causes a flash of light. Sometimes a meteor, without being completely burned, falls on the earth and creates a hollow. Do you see a whitish broad band broad band, like a white glowing path across the sky on a clear, starry night. It is a cluster of millions of stars. This band is the Milky Way galaxy. Our solar system is a part of this galaxy. In ancient India, it was imagined to be a river of light flowing in the sky. Thus, it was named Akasha Ganga. A galaxy is a huge system of billions of stars and clouds of dust and gases. There are millions of such galaxies that make the universe. It is difficult to imagine how big the universe is. Scientists are still trying to find out more and more about it. We are not certain about its size, but we know that all of us, you and I, belong to this universe. Figure 1.6 shows the Milky Way. Okay, can you relate yourself with the universe now? You are on the Earth, and the Earth is a part of the solar system. Our solar system is a part of the Milky Way galaxy, which is a part of the universe. Think about the universe and the fact that it contains millions of such galaxies. How do you fit in the picture? You, Earth, solar system, Milky Way galaxy, the universe. So we have completed the first chapter. We will move to the next chapter, which is second chapter, globe, latitudes and longitudes. Figure 2.1 shows the globe. Okay, in the previous chapter, you have read that our planet Earth is not a sphere. It is slightly flattened at the north and south poles and bulge in the middle. Can you imagine how it looks? You may look at a globe carefully in your classroom to get an idea. Globe is a true model, miniature form of the Earth. Globes may be of varying sizes, size and type. Big ones which cannot be carried easily, small pocket globes, and globe-like balloons which can be inflated and are handy and carried with ease. The globe is not fixed. It can be rotated the same way as a top spin or a potter's wheel is rotated. On the globe, countries, continents, and oceans are shown in their correct size. It is difficult to describe the location of a point on a sphere like the Earth. Now the question arises as to how to locate a place on it. We need certain points of reference and lines to find out the locations of places. You will notice that a needle is fixed through the globe in a tilted manner, which is called its axis. Two points on the globe through which the needle passes are two poles, North Pole and South Pole. The globe can be moved around this needle from the west to east, just as the Earth moves. But remember, there is a major difference. The real Earth has no such needle. It moves around its axis, which is an imaginary line. Another imaginary line running on the globe divides it into two equal parts. This line is known as the equator. The northern half of the Earth is known as northern hemisphere, and the southern half is known as southern hemisphere. They are both equal halves. Therefore, the equator is an imaginary circular line and is a very important reference point to locate places on the Earth. All parallel circles from the equator up to the poles are called parallels of latitudes. Latitudes are measured in degrees. The equator represents the 0 degree latitude. Since the distance from the equator to either the poles is 1/4 of a circle around the Earth, it will measure 1/4 of 360 degrees, that is 90 degree. Thus 90 degrees north latitude marks the North Pole and 90 degrees south latitudes mark the South Pole. As such, all parallels north of the equator are called north latitudes. Similarly, all parallels south of the equator are called south latitudes. The value of each latitude is therefore followed by either the word north or south. Generally, this is indicated by the letter N or S. For example, both Chandrapur in Maharashtra, India, and Belo Horizonte in Brazil, South America are located on a parallels of about 20-degree latitudes, but the former is 20 degree north of the equator and the later is 20 degrees south of it. We therefore say that Chandrapur is situated at 20-degree north latitude and Belo Horizonte is situated at 20 degrees south latitude. We see in figure 2.2 that as we move away from the equator, the size of the parallels of latitude decreases. Okay. Figure 2.2 shows the latitude. Okay. North Pole. This is equator. 20° north, 40° north, 60° north, 80° north. Okay. By measuring the angle of the polar star from your place, you can know the latitude of your place. Okay. Important parallels of latitudes. Besides the equator, the North Pole 90° north and the South Pole 90° south, there are four important parallels of latitudes. There are four important parallels of latitude. Figure 2.3 shows important latitudes and heat zones. North Pole, frigid zone, 66.5° north. Arctic Circle, North Temperate Zone, Tropic of Cancer, 23.5° north. Torrid Zone, Equator, 0. Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5° south. South Temperate Zone, Antarctic Circle, Frigid Zone, South Pole, 66.5° south. Okay, first one is Tropic of Cancer, 23.5° north in the northern hemisphere. Second is Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5° south in the southern hemisphere. Third is Arctic Circle at 66.5° north of the equator. Fourth is Antarctic Circle at 66.5 south of the equator. Heat zones of the Earth. The midday sun is exactly overhead at least once a year on all latitudes in between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This area therefore receives the maximum heat and is called the torrid zone. The midday sun never shines overhead on any latitude beyond the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. The angle of the sun's rays goes on decreasing towards the poles. As such, the areas bounded by the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere have moderate temperatures. These are therefore called temperate zones. Areas lying between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere are very cold. It is because here the sun does not rise much above the horizon. Therefore, its rays are always slanting and provide less heat. Therefore, these are therefore called frigid zones, very cold. Okay. Figure 2.4a shows the torchlight falling on a straight surface is bright and covers a small area. Figure 2.4b shows torchlight falling on a slanted surface is less bright but covers a bigger area. Okay. Figure 2.5 shows longitudes. Okay. This is North Pole longitudes. What are longitudes? To fix the position of a place, it is necessary to know something more than the latitude of that place. Okay, you can see, for example, that Tonga Islands in the Pacific Ocean and Mauritius Islands in the Indian Ocean are situated on the same latitude, that is 20° south. Now, in order to locate them precisely, we must find out how far east or west these places are from a given line of reference running from North Pole to the South Pole. These lines of references are called the meridians of longitude, and the degree and the distances between them are measured in degrees of longitude. Each degree is further divided into minutes and minutes into seconds. They are semicircles and the distance between them decreases steadily polewards until it becomes zero at the poles where all the meridians meet. Unlike parallels of latitude, all meridians are of equal length. Thus, it was difficult to number the meridians. Unlike parallels of latitude, all meridians are of equal length. Thus, it was difficult to number the meridians. Hence, all countries decided that the count should begin from the meridian which passed through Greenwich, where the British Royal Observatory is located. This meridian is called the prime meridian. Its value is 0° longitude, and from it we count 180° eastward as well as 180° westward. The prime meridian and 180-degree meridian divide the Earth into two equal halves, the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. Therefore, the longitude of a place is followed by the letter E for the east and W for the west. It is, however, interesting to note that 180-degree east and 180-degree west meridians are on the same line. Okay. Figure 2.6 shows the grid. It's the prime meridian. It's the North Pole. Okay. Now look at the grid of the parallels of latitude and meridians of longitude on the globe. Figure 2.6. You can locate any point on the globe very easily if you know its latitude and longitude. For example, Dubai in Assam is situated at 26-degree north latitude and 90-degree east longitude. Find out the point where these two lines cut each other. That's the point. That point will be location of Dubai. To understand this clearly, draw equidistant vertical and horizontal lines on a paper. Label the vertical rows with numbers and horizontal rows with letters. To understand this clearly, draw equidistant vertical and horizontal lines on a paper. Figure 2.7. Okay. Label the vertical rows with numbers and horizontal rows with letters. Draw some small circles randomly on points where these horizontal and vertical lines intersect each other. Name these small circles as A, B, C, D, and E. Let vertical lines represent east longitudes and horizontal lines as north longitudes. Now you will see that circle A is located on the B degree north latitude and 1 degree east longitude. Find out the location of other circles. Okay. Here you can see the time zones of the world. Okay. Longitude and time. The best means of measuring time is by movement of the earth, the moon and the planets. The sun regularly rises and sets every day, and naturally, it is the best timekeeper throughout the world. Local time can be reckoned by the shadow cast of the sun, which is the shortest at noon and longest at sunrise and sunset. When the prime meridian of Greenwich has the sun at highest point in the sky, all places along this meridian will have midday or noon. As the earth rotates from west to east, those places east of Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time, and those to the west will be behind it. The rate of difference can be calculated as follows. The earth rotates 360-degree in about 24 hours, which means 15-degree an hour, or 1 degree in 4 minutes. Thus, when it is 12 noon at Greenwich, the time at 15 degree east of Greenwich will be 15 into 4 is equal to 60 minutes. That is 1 hour ahead of Greenwich time, which means 1 p.m. But at 15-degree west of Greenwich, the time will be behind Greenwich time by 1 hour. That is, it will be 11 a.m. Similarly, at 180-degree, it will be midnight when it is 12 noon at Greenwich. At any place, a watch can be adjusted to read 12 o'clock when the sun is at highest point in the sky. That is when it is midday. The time shown by such a watch will given the local time for that place. You can see that the places on a given meridian of longitude have the same local time. Why do we have standard time? Figure 2.9 shows the Indian standard meridian. Okay, 68-degree east, 82 and a half degree east, 97-degree east, standard meridian. Okay, the local time of places which are on different meridians are bound to differ. For example, it will be difficult to prepare a timetable for trains which cross several longitudes. In India, for instance, there will be a difference of about 1 hour and 45 minutes in local times of Dwarka in Gujarat and Dibrugarh in Assam. It is therefore necessary to adopt the local time of some central meridian of a country as the standard time for the country. In India, the longitude of 82 and a half degree east, 82 degree 30 east is treated as the standard meridian. The local time at this meridian is taken as a standard time for the whole country. It is known as the Indian Standard Time, IST. Kabir lives in a town near the Bhopal. He tells his friend Alok that they will not be able to sleep tonight. A day and night cricket match between India and England had started at 2 p.m. in London. This means that the match would begin at 7:30 p.m. in India and will finish into the night, well into the night. Do you know what is the time difference between India and England? India located east on Greenwich at 82 degree 30 minutes east is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of GMT. So it will be 7:30 p.m. in India when it is 2 p.m. noon in London. Some countries have a great longitudinal extent, and so they have adopted more than one standard time. For example, in Russia there are many as 11 standard times. In Russia there are as many as 11 standard times. The earth has been divided into 24 time zones of 1 hour each. Each zone thus covers 15 degree of longitude. So we have covered the second chapter also. We'll move to the third chapter, motions of the earth. Third chapter is motions of the earth. As you know that the earth has two types of motions, namely rotation and revolution. Rotation is the movement of the earth on its axis. The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit is called revolution. The axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degrees with its orbital plane. The plane formed by the orbit is known as orbital plane. The earth receives light from the sun. Due to the spherical shape of the earth, only half of it gets light from the sun at a time. The portion facing the sun experiences day while the other half away from the sun experiences night. The circle that divides the day from night on globe is called the circle of illumination. This circle does not coincide with the axis as you see in the figure 3.2. Yeah, figure 3.2 shows the day and night on the earth due to rotation. Okay, day and night on the earth due to rotation. South pole, north pole, equator, circle of illumination here. Okay, the earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis. The period of rotation is known as earth day. This is the daily motion of the earth. Figure 3.1 shows inclination of earth's axis and orbital plane. South pole, the plane of the earth's orbit. North pole, the vertical line from the earth's orbital plane. Tropic of Cancer, equator, Tropic of Capricorn. What would happen if the earth did not rotate? The proportion of the earth facing the sun would always experience day, thus bringing continuous warmth to the region. The other half would remain in darkness and be freezing cold all the time. Life would not have been possible in such extreme conditions. The second motion of the earth around the sun in its orbit is called revolution. It takes 365 1 by 4 days, 1 year to revolve around the sun. We consider a year as consisting of 365 days only and ignore 6 hours for the sake of convenience. Do you know the ancient Indian astronomer Aryabhatta had stated that the earth is rotated, earth is round and rotates on its own axis. Okay. Figure 3.3, revolution of earth and seasons. Okay. Spring, equinox. Equinox is on 21st March. Equinox 21st March. Autumn. Okay. Winter in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. Winter solstice 22nd December. Okay. Equinox 21st March. Northern pole hemisphere spring, southern hemisphere autumn. Equinox 23rd September. Northern hemisphere autumn, southern hemisphere spring. Summer solstice June 21st. Summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. So winter solstice 22nd December, summer solstice 21st June, equinox 21st March and 23rd September. Revolution of the earth and seasons. Okay. 6 hours saved every year are added to make one day. 24 hours over a span of 4 years. This surplus day is added to the month of February. Thus, every fourth year, February is of 29 days instead of 28 days. Such a year with 366 days is called a leap year. From the figure 3.3, it is clear that the Earth is going around the Sun in an elliptical orbit. Notice that throughout its orbit, the Earth is inclined in the same direction. A year is usually divided into summer, winter, spring, and autumn seasons. Seasons change due to the change in the position of the Earth around the Sun. Look at the figure 3.3. You will see that on 21st June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the Sun. The rays of the Sun fall directly on the Tropic of Cancer. As a result, these areas receive more heat. The areas near the poles receive less heat as the rays of the Sun are slanting. The North Pole is inclined towards the Sun, and the places beyond the Arctic Circle experiences continuous daylight for about 6 months. Since a large portion of the northern hemisphere is getting light from the sun, it is summer in the regions north of the equator. The longest day and the shortest night at these places occur on 21st June. At this time in the southern hemisphere, all these conditions are reversed. It is winter season here. The nights are longer than days. This position of the earth is called the summer solstice. On 22nd December, the Tropic of Capricorn receives direct rays of the sun as the south pole tilts towards it. As the sun's rays fall vertically at the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south, a large portion of the southern hemisphere gets light. Therefore, it is summer in the southern hemisphere with long days and shorter nights. The reverse happens in the northern hemisphere. This position of the earth is called the winter solstice. Do you know that the Christmas is celebrated in Australia in summer season? On 21st March and September 23rd, direct rays of sun falls on the equator. At this position, neither of the poles is tilted towards the sun, so the whole earth experiences equal days and equal nights. This is called an equinox. On 23rd September, it is autumn season in the northern hemisphere and spring season in the southern hemisphere. The opposite is in the case of 21st March. Okay. When it is spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere. The opposite is in the case on 21st March when it is spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere. Thus, you find that there are days and nights and changes in the seasons because of the rotation and revolution of the earth respectively. Okay. So we have completed the chapter 3 also. Next, we will discuss chapter 4, maps. You have learned in the previous chapter about the advantages of a globe. However, globe has limitations as well. A globe can be useful when we want to study the earth as a whole, but when we want to study only a part of the earth as about our country, states, districts, towns and villages, it is of little help. In such a situation, we use maps. A map is a representation or a drawing of the earth's surface or a part of it drawn on a flat surface according to scale, but it is impossible to flatten a round shape completely. We find that maps are useful to us for various purposes. One map shows a small area and a few facts. Another map may contain as many facts as a big book. When many maps are put together, we get an atlas. Atlases are of various sizes, measurements drawn on different scales. Maps provide more information than a globe. They are of different types. Some of them are described below. Physical maps. Maps showing natural features of Earth such as mountains, plateaus, plains, rivers, oceans, etc., are called physical or relief maps. Political maps, maps showing cities, towns, and villages, and different countries and states of the world with their boundaries, are called political maps. Thematic maps, some maps focus on specific information such as maps, road maps, rainfall maps, maps showing distribution of forest, industries, etc., are known as thematic maps. Suitable titles are given on the basis of information provided in these maps. There are three components of maps: distance, direction, and symbol. Distance maps are drawings which reduce the entire world or a part of it to fit on a sheet of paper, or we can say maps are drawn to reduce scales. But this reduction is done very carefully so that the distance between the places is real. It can only be possible when a small distance on paper represents a large distance on the ground. Therefore, a scale is chosen for this purpose. Scale is the ratio between the actual distance on the ground and the distance shown on the map. For example, the distance between your school and your home is 10 kilometer. If you show this 10 kilometer distance by 2 centimeter on a map, it means 1 centimeter on the map will show 5 kilometer on the ground. The scale of your drawing will be 1 centimeter is equal to 5 kilometer. The scale is very important in any map. If you know the scale, you will be able to calculate the distance between any two places on a map. When large areas like continents or countries are to be shown on a paper, then we use a small scale. For example, 5 centimeter on the map shows 500 kilometers of the ground. It is called a small scale map. When a small area like your village or town is to be shown on paper, then we use a large scale, that is 5 centimeter on the map shows 500 meters only on the ground. It is called large scale map. The large scale maps give more information than small scale maps. Okay. Direction. Most maps contain an arrow marked with the letter N at the upper right hand corner. This arrow shows the north direction. It is called the north line. When you know the north, you can find out the other directions. For example, east, west, and south. There are four major directions: north, south, east, west. They are called cardinal points. Cardinal points. Okay. Map of a village is shown in figure 4.1. Okay. Other four intermediate directions are northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. We can locate any place more accurately with the help of these intermediate directions. Figure 4.2a shows the cardinal directions and intermediate directions. Okay, figure 4.2b shows a compass. Okay, find out the following directions from the figure 4.1. The direction of the community center. Okay, this is the task. Okay, we can find out the direction of a place with the help of a compass. It is an instrument used to find out main directions. Its magnetic needle always points towards south, north-south direction. Okay. Symbols. It is the third important component of a map. It is not possible to draw on a map the actual shape and size of different features such as buildings, roads, bridges, trees, railway lines, or a well. So they are shown by using certain letters, shades, colors, pictures, and lines. These symbols give a lot of information in a limited space. With the use of these symbols, maps can be drawn easily and are simple to read. Simple to read. Even if you don't know the language of an area and therefore cannot ask someone for directions, you can collect information from maps with the help of these symbols. Maps have a universal language that can be understood by all. There is an international agreement regarding the use of these symbols. These are called conventional symbols. Some of the conventional symbols are shown in figure 4.3. Okay. Conventional symbols are shown here. You can refer them later. Various colors are used for the same purpose. For example, generally blue is used for showing water bodies, brown for mountain, yellow for plateau, and green is for used for plains. Okay. Sketch. A sketch is a drawing mainly based on memory and spot observation and not to scale. Sometimes a rough drawing is required of an area to tell where a particular place is located with respect to other places. Suppose you want to go to your friend's house, but you don't know the way. Your friend may make a rough drawing to show the way to his house. Such a rough drawing is drawn without scale and is called a sketch map. Plan. A plan is a drawing of small area on a large scale. A large scale map gives a lot of information, but there are certain things which we may sometimes want to know. For example, the length and breadth of a room, which cannot be shown in a map. At that time, we can refer drawings drawn to a scale called a plan. Okay, so we have completed the chapter 4 also. Next, we will discuss chapter 5, major domains of the earth. As you have read in the first chapter, the earth is the only planet which has human life, which has life. Human beings can live here because the life sustaining elements of land, water, and air are present on the earth. The surface of the earth is a complex zone in which three main components of the environment meet, overlap, and interact. The solid portion of the Earth on which we live is called the lithosphere. The gaseous layers that surround the Earth is the atmosphere, where oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and other gases are found. Water covers a big area of the Earth's surface, and this area is called the hydrosphere. The hydrosphere comprises water in all its forms, that is, ice, water, and water vapor. Biosphere is the narrow zone that where we find land, water, and air together, with which contains all forms of life. Okay. In the Greek language, lithos means stone, atmos means vapor, hudor means water, bios means life. Lithosphere. The solid portion of the earth is called the lithosphere. It comprises the rocks of the earth's crust and the thin layers of soil that contain nutrient elements which sustain organisms. There are two main divisions of the earth's surface. The large landmass are known as continents, and the huge water bodies are known as called the ocean basins. All the oceans of the world are connected with one another. Okay, are all the land masses connected with one another? The level of seawater remains the same everywhere. Elevation of land is measured from the level of the sea, which is taken as zero. Okay. The highest mountain peak, Mount Everest, is 8848 meters above the sea level. The greatest depth of 11,022 meters is recorded at Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. Could you imagine that depth of sea is much more than the highest point? Okay. Edmund Hillary, New Zealand, and Tenzing Norgay, Sherpa, India, were the first men to climb the highest mountain peak, Mount Everest, on the planet Earth on 29th May 1953. Jungo Tabe, Japan, was the first woman to reach reach the summit on 16th May 1975. The first Indian woman to climb the highest peak on 23rd May 1984 was Bachendri Pal. Continents. There are seven major continents. These are separated by large bodies. These continents are Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia, and Antarctica. Okay. The greater part of the land mass lies in the northern hemisphere. Asia is the largest continent. It covers about one third of the total land area of the Earth. The continent lies in the eastern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer passes through this continent. Asia is separated from Europe by the Ural Mountains on the west. The combined landmass of Europe and Asia is called the Eurasia, Europe plus Asia. Europe is much smaller than Asia. The continent lies to west of Asia. The Arctic Circle passes through it. It is bounded by water bodies on three sides. Okay, Africa. Africa is the second largest continent after Asia. The equator or 0 degree latitude runs almost through the middle of the continent. A large part of Africa lies in the northern hemisphere. Africa is the only continent through which Tropic of Cancer, the Equator, and Tropic of Capricorn pass. The Sahara Desert, the world's largest hot desert, is located in Africa. The continent is bound on all sides by oceans and seas. You will notice that the world's longest river, the Nile, flows through the Africa. Notice where the equator, the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn pass in the map of Africa. Okay. North America. North America is the third largest continent of the world. It is linked to the South America by a very narrow strip of land called Isthmus of Panama. The continent lies completely in the northern and western hemisphere. Three oceans surround this continent. Okay. South America lies mostly in the southern hemisphere, which two oceans surround it on the east and the west. The Andes, world's longest mountain range, runs through its length from north to south. South America has the world's largest river, the Amazon. And Australia is the smallest continent that lies entirely in the southern hemisphere. It is surrounded on all sides by the oceans and seas. It is called an island continent. Antarctica, completely in the southern hemisphere, is a huge continent. The South Pole lies almost at the center of this continent. As it is located in the south polar region, it is permanently covered with thick ice sheets. There are no permanent human settlements. Many countries have research stations in Antarctica. India also has research stations there. These are named Maitri and Bharati. Figure 5.2 shows isthmus and strait. Okay. A strait is a narrow passage of water connecting two large water bodies like seas and oceans. Isthmus is a narrow strip of land joining two land masses. Isthmus, South America and North America. Okay. Hydrosphere. The Earth is called the blue planet. More than 71% of the Earth is covered with water and 29% with it is with land. Hydrosphere consists of water in all its forms, as running water in oceans and rivers and in lakes, ice in glaciers, underground water, and the water vapor in atmosphere all comprise the hydrosphere. More than 97% of the Earth's water is found in the oceans and is too salty for human use. A large proportion of the rest of the water is in the form of ice sheets and glaciers or under the ground, and a very small percentage is available as fresh water for human use. Hence, despite being a blue planet, we face a shortage of water. Okay. Fresh water 2.5 percentage, oceans 97.5 percentage. Okay. Oceans are the major part of hydrosphere. They are all interconnected. The ocean waters are always moving. The three chief movements of the ocean waters are waves, tides, and ocean currents. The five major oceans are the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean in order of their size. So, biggest one is Pacific Ocean, then Atlantic Ocean, second one is Atlantic Ocean, third one is Indian Ocean, fourth one is Southern Ocean, and fifth one is Arctic Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. It is spread over one third of the Earth. Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the Earth, lies in the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is almost circular in shape. Asia, Australia, North and South Americas surround it. Look at the map and find out the location of the continents around the Pacific Ocean. Okay. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest ocean in the world. It is S-shaped. It is flanked by the North and South Americas on the western side and Europe and Africa on the eastern side. The coastline of Atlantic Ocean is highly indented. This irregular and indented coastline provides the ideal location for natural harbors and ports. From the point of view of commerce, it is the busiest ocean. Okay, intended coastline, Belfast, Dublin. Okay, the Indian coast The Indian Ocean is the only ocean named after a country, that is India. The shape of ocean is almost triangular. In the north, it is bound by Asia, in the west by Africa, and in the east by Australia. The Southern Ocean encircles the continent of Antarctica and extends northwards to 60 degrees south latitude. The Arctic Ocean is located within the Arctic Circle and surrounds the northern North Pole. It is connected with the Pacific Ocean by a narrow stretch of shallow water known as Bering Strait. It is bound by northern coasts of North America and Eurasia. Atmosphere. The Earth is surrounded by a layer of gas called the atmosphere. This thin blanket of air is an integral and important aspect of the planet. It provides us with the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effects of sun rays. The atmosphere extends up to a height of about 1600 kilometers. The atmosphere is divided into five layers based on composition, temperature, and other properties. These layers, starting from the Earth's surface, are called the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and the exosphere. The atmosphere is composed mainly of nitrogen and oxygen, which make which make up 99% of clean dry air. Nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, and other gases like carbon dioxide, argon, and others comprise 1% by volume. Oxygen is the breath of life, while nitrogen helps in growth of living organisms. Carbon dioxide, though present in minute amount, is important as it absorbs heat radiated by the earth, thereby keeping the planet warm. It is also essential for the growth of planets, growth of plants. The density of the atmosphere varies with height. Figure 5.4 shows the layers of the atmosphere: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. It is maximum at the sea level. Okay, the density of the atmosphere varies with height. It is maximum at the sea level and decreases rapidly as we go up. You know, the climbers experience problems in breathing due to this decrease in the density of air. They have to carry with them oxygen cylinders to be able to breathe at high altitudes. The temperature also decreases as we go upwards. The atmosphere exerts pressure on the earth. This varies from place to place. Some areas experience high pressure and some areas low pressure. Air moves from high pressure to low pressure. Moving air is known as wind. 5.5 shows a mountaineer here. Biosphere, the domain of life. The biosphere is a narrow zone of contact between the land, water, and air. It is in this zone that life that is unique to this planet exists. There are several species of organisms that vary in size from microbes and bacteria to huge mammals. All the living organisms, including humans, are linked to each other and to the biosphere for survival. The organisms in the biosphere may broadly be divided into plant kingdom and animal kingdom. The three domains of the earth interact with each other and affect each other in some way or the other. For example, cutting off forest for fulfilling our needs of wood or clearing land for agriculture may lead to fast removal of soils from slopes. Similarly, earth's surface may be changed due to natural calamities like earthquakes. For example, there could be submergence of land, as happened in the case of tsunami recently. Parts of Andaman and Nicobar Islands were submerged underwater. Discharge of waste materials into lakes and rivers makes the water unsuitable for human use. It also damages other forms of life. Emission from industries, thermal power plants, and vehicles pollute the air. Carbon dioxide is an important constituent of air, but increase in the amount of CO2 leads to increase in the global temperatures. This is termed as global warming. There is thus a need to limit the use of resources of the earth to maintain the balance of nature between the domains of the lithosphere, the atmosphere, and the hydrosphere. So we have completed the chapter 5. We will move to the next chapter, chapter 6, our country, India. India is a country of vast geographical expanse. In the north, it is bound by lofty Himalayas. The Arabian Sea is in the west, and the Bay of Bengal is in the east, and the Indian Ocean is in the south. Wash the shores of the Indian Peninsula. The peninsula is a piece of land that is surrounded by water on three sides. India has an area of about 3.28 million square kilometer. The north-south extent from Ladakh to Kanyakumari is about 3,200 kilometer. The north-south extent from Ladakh to Kanyakumari is about 3,200 kilometer, and the east-west extent from Arunachal Pradesh to Kutch is about 2,900 kilometer. The Lofi Mountains, Great Indian Desert, the Northern Plains, the uneven plateau surface, and the coast and islands present a diversity of landforms. There is a great variety in the climate, vegetation, wildlife, as well as in the language and culture. In this diversity, we find unity that is reflected in traditions that bind us as one nation. India has a population of more than 120 crores since the year 2011. It is the second most populous country of the world after China. Locational setting. India is located in the northern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer, 23 degree 30 minutes north, passes almost halfway through the country. From the from south to north, mainland of India extends between 8 degree north, 8 degree 4 minute north and 37 degree 6 minute north latitudes. From west to east, India extends between 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degree 25 minutes east longitudes. If we divide the world into eastern and western hemispheres, which hemisphere would India belong to? Due to great longitudinal extent of about 29 degrees, there could be a wide differences in the local time of places located at two extreme points of India. As such, the differences between these two points would be of about 2 hours. As you have learned earlier, the local time changes by 4 minutes for every 1 degree of longitude. The sun rises about 2 hours earlier in the east, Arunachal Pradesh, than in the west, Gujarat. You have already read earlier why the local time of longitude 82 degree 30 minute east has been taken as Indian Standard Time. This meridian or longitude is termed as Standard Meridian of India, 82 degree 30 minutes east. Okay. Large countries which stretch extensively from east to west do not have a single standard time for the whole country. The USA and Canada have 7 and 6 time zones respectively. USA have 7 and Canada has 6 time zone. Okay. Russia has 11, right? Okay, India's neighbors. There are 7 countries that share land boundaries with India. Find out names. They are Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, Tibet. Okay. Okay, India and its neighboring countries. Sri Lanka. How many of these countries do not have access to any ocean or sea? Across the sea to the south lie our island neighbors, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Sri Lanka is separated from India by the Park Strait. Okay. Political and administrative divisions. India is a vast country. For administrative purpose, the country is divided into 28 states and 8 union territories. Delhi is the national capital. The states have been formed mainly on the basis of languages. Alluvial deposits. These are very fine soils brought by rivers and deposited in the river basins. Tributary. A river or stream which contributes its water to a main river by discharging it into main river from either side. Okay. Figure 6.3 shows India and its physical divisions. Okay. Deccan Plateau, Western Ghats, coastal areas, Eastern Ghats, Vindhya region, Satpura Range, Great Indian Desert, Aravalli Range, Great Himalayas, Shivalik, Northern Plains. Okay. Physical divisions. India is marked by a diversity of physical features such as mountains, plateaus, plains, coast, and islands. Standing as sentinels in the north are the lofty snow-capped Himalayas. Him plus Alaya mean the abode of the snow. The Himalayan mountains are divided into three main parallel ranges. The northernmost is the Great Himalaya or Himadri. The world's highest peaks are located in this range. Middle Himalaya or Himachal lies in the south of Himadri. Many popular hill stations are situated here. Find out the names of 5 hill stations. Okay, the Shivalik is the southernmost range. Southernmost range. Okay, many popular. Okay, which are those 5 hill stations? Okay, the 5 hill stations situated in Himachal or Middle Himalayas are Chail, Dalhousie, Dharamshala, Kullu, and Manali. There are other hill stations also like Shimla, Kachar, Kufri, and Kasauli. Okay. The northern Indian plains lie to the south of Himalayas. They are generally level and flat. These are formed by the alluvial deposits laid down by the rivers, the Indus, Ganga, and the Brahmaputra and their tributaries. These river plains provide fertile land for cultivation. That is the reason for high concentration of population in these plains. In the western part of the India lies the Great Indian Desert. It is a dry, hot, and sandy stretch of land. It has very little vegetation. To the south of northern plains lies the Peninsula Plateau. It is a triangular in shape. The relief is highly uneven. This is a region with numerous hill ranges and valleys. Aravalli Hills, one of the oldest ranges of the world, border it on the northwest side. The Vindhyas and Satpura are the important ranges. The rivers Narmada and Tapi flow through these ranges. These are west-flowing rivers and that drain into Arabian Sea. The Western Ghats or Sahyadris border the plateau in the west, and the Eastern Ghats provide the eastern boundary. While the Western Ghats are almost continuous, the Eastern Ghats are broken and uneven. The plateau is rich in minerals like coal and iron ore. To the west of the Western Ghats and the east of the Eastern Ghats lie the coastal plains. The west, the western coastal plains are very narrow. The eastern coastal plains are much broader. There are a number of east-flowing rivers. Rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri drain into Bay of Bengal. These rivers have formed fertile deltas at their mouth. The Sundarban Delta is formed where the Ganga and Brahmaputra flow into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, figure 6.4 shows the coral islands. Okay. The Ganga and Brahmaputra form the world's largest delta, the Sundarbans Delta. The shape is triangular in shape. Okay, it is an area of land formed at the mouth of the river. Where rivers enter the sea, that point is called the mouth of the river. Okay. Do you know corals are the skeletons of tiny marine animals called polyps? When the living polyps die, their skeletons are left. All the other polyps grow on the top of the hard skeleton, which grows higher and higher, thus forming the coral islands. Figure 6.4 shows coral islands. Okay. Two groups of islands also form part of India. Lakshadweep Islands are located in the Arabian Sea. These are coral islands located off the coast of Kerala. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands lie to the southeast of the Indian mainland in the Bay of Bengal. Do you know which group of islands were affected by tsunami in 2004? Find out through newspaper reports and by speaking. Okay. Tsunami is a huge sea wave generated due to an earthquake on the sea floor. Okay. So we have completed class 6 NCERT of geography. Thank you for listening me. We'll see you in next class. Thank you very much.